Welcome to the worst of Chad Austin. Man, let me just start off with this. On my way here, I came here straight after work, per usual. On my way here, I stopped at a smoke shop to get my Juul pods, because Juul Boys for life, but which also, we'll get into that too, because it's going to fucking suck when they finally ban these things in January. But so I walk in right after this older gentleman, and I wasn't really paying attention to him, but I didn't get like shady, weird tweaker vibes, but I spent a solid 5 minutes standing behind him in line while he picked out the perfect little pookie pipe. And I've been in plenty of smoke shops in my life, and I think that's definitely the first time I've ever watched somebody purchase one of those in the daytime. So that was tight. I like having experiences like that. And this dude was just, he was ready to go smoke some meth. Or I guess you can use those pipes to smoke like wax, right? You can just smoke, weed wax with those pipes. But I mean, most people that are heavy into concentrates usually have some kind of rig or this, that, and the other. So I'm pretty sure this dude was about to get down. He was, it's the weekend. It's Saturday night. He doesn't have to go to bed tonight. It's not time to go to. It's not sleepy time, dude. It's meth time. This dude was gonna stay up all fucking night. Just probably get. He doesn't seem like he didn't seem like he has friends. So that seems like I'm gonna get really high and jerk off and take apart my VCR and rebuild it type of night. So, and yes, he probably still does have a VCR. Speaking of getting high, I've been sober for not 3 years now, 2.5, something like that. I don't know. I'm not one of those ones that keeps track. It's been a while since I've done any drugs. And it's been at least 2 years since I've been a drinker. And occasionally, I still smoke some weed or take some edibles and that the other, but I don't consider that being unsober. I mean, they call that California sober, right? And as much as I hate the trend of terms like that, I guess I am. I live in California, and that's the type of sober I am, so fuck it. But let me tell you, I figured out a way to get high without any drugs, and it happened by accident. The other day, I woke up, I think it was Monday or Tuesday morning, and Monday morning, and I did my usual 6 shots of espresso, and then I followed the 6 shots of espresso with a solid workout, and then from the solid workout, I went and took a hot shower, and while I was in the hot shower, I decided to jerk off, and with that exact formula, as soon as I came, I felt high as shit. So if you're a sober person and you're looking to get high, follow those steps, my dudes. And if you're a chick, diddle that skittle, my chicks. So yeah, just a little sage advice from your good friend Chad. Other than that, not much has been going on. I took a few days off work, hung out at home. That was nice. I felt like I had... Oh yeah, the fucking Juul thing. So I really don't get it. I really don't get why out of all of these fucking things that are in smoke shops, this is the one that you're banning. And I feel like I've talked about this before, but still, as we get closer, now we're 2 months away from it being gone forever. As we get closer, because I think it's January 1st that they're it's done. As we get closer and closer, I'm just getting more and more mad because I don't have very many vices anymore. I have coffee and I have nicotine. And I really don't want to go the route of nicotine pouches, which might be the next version of this for me. But I can't deal with any of these other fucking disposable vapes on the market. They all I mean, everything's fucking mango sorbet and fruit punch and Gatorade ice and all this bullshit. I just want something that tastes like a cigarette. I just want a classic tobacco flavor. But I can't get that because all of these other ones, even if you buy the one that says it's tobacco flavored, it has like this weird like cooling effect when you hit it. So it almost feels like you're smoking menthol, and I fucking hate it. And most of them don't know how to make a fucking tobacco flavor. Like, sure, this isn't very close to smoking a real cigarette, but it's the closest thing I've found. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit because all of these other ones, they're fucking lime green and pink and red, and they look like giant pills or little tiny compact discs, and they look like they're much more fucking fly. They look like they're much more built for children. Like, if you fucking piece of shit. If you are, if the whole reason is like safety and children and all this shit that we are banning jewel pods, I'm gonna fucking murder this fly. Then why are we doing these ones? They already got rid of all the mango flavors and all that shit for jewel. All we have left is fucking menthol and tobacco. I'd say that's pretty solidly geared towards adults. All these other ones are colorful and fruity flavored. Those ones are the ones that should be banned. I think it's fucking ridiculous. I hate it. But I'm talking about something I feel like no one else cares about. There's one guy I know. He's like the maintenance guy at my work, and he'll talk to me about this for like an hour. But, you know, everyone has their hobbies. I think he's also part of QAnon. We get along. So while I was taking a few extra days off work after having a hellishly long last pay period, I got into the Jeffrey Dahmer series. And, you know, I will say that they did a pretty, I would say that they did a good job, you know, overall, like, I will pick apart some things, but if I was going like, it's not a show that I would steer people away from watching, right? Like, don't waste your time. No, it's decent. And Evan Peters, the kid that plays Jeffrey Dahmer, does a great job of being creepy and shit. I think I forgot to bring my water in. Yeah, so he does a really good job of being creepy, and he has that really like subtle, stirring, jarring, quiet, don't know what's going on in his head type of vibe, which I feel like if you've seen videos of like Jeffrey Dahmer in court and all that stuff, it kind of fits that bill. But it also, like, I don't know if it needed to be 10 episodes, because after a while it starts feeling like it's just murder porn and not really trying to tell the story and let people know, you know, about these victims and all this shit. And then also, if it was supposed to be like representation for victims, from what I understand, they didn't even let the victims know, like the victims' families know that they were doing this, and now they're all pissed off. But they did a pretty good job. It's wild though watching it, because you realize, I mean, everyone knows how shitty most cops are. But you kind of realize like how fucking shitty some cops are, because the man had so many fucking run-ins with the cops. I mean, at least 8 in the show before he got caught. And one of them basically is just like, his neighbor always knew he was up to some shit. Dude, black women are intuitive. Like, they're just like this crazy ass white boy, and I you know, for the most part they're pretty spot on with this. And this time she absolutely was. She could smell him cooking humans next door. It was fucked up, and she called the cops on him so many times. And okay, let me play this out for you. This is exactly how it went when I believe her name was Glenda. when Glenda would call the cops on Jeffrey Dahmer. Hello, police. I'd like to report that there's something suspicious going on with my neighbor. Hey, Glenda. Yeah, you know, you called a few times already, and you know, we're on top of it. Well, you know, there's some weird smells coming from there, and I just there's something wrong with this boy. You know, Glenda, you know, Jeffrey's just a homosexual, and we as the officer of the law, we might not agree with his homosexuality, but we can't do anything about it. So you have a nice day. Wait, but I really want to talk to you about what's going on because I'm hearing screaming. Yeah, well, sometimes when they have sex, no, it's not that. Like, I don't care about his sexuality. It has nothing to do with that. I think that he's up to something. I believe that he's up in someone. And as an officer of the law, I really can't do anything about that. I might think it's gross and I want to throw up and take a shower, but sorry, Glenda. And then they hang up. And then Jeffrey goes on and fucking piece of shit. Jeffrey goes on and kills like 15 more people after that. It's ridiculous. So fuck the cops. Glenda's tight. Shout out to Glenda. If you're still alive, you're a bad bitch. But yeah, you know, like, it's crazy because I was 9 years old when Jeffrey Dahmer was murdered in prison. And it's wild to think about because you, like, as you get older and you like detach from all these things that happened when you were younger, you start to think that like all of the major murderers were before I started to think that all the major murderers were before I was born. Like, you know, obviously Gacy, and then what was the handsome one? Fuck. The one that fucking, yeah, god damn it. Gacy, Dahmer. I'm drawing a blank right now, but he was the one that Zac Efron played in the movie, and yeah, fuck, this is gonna bother me. But so that, you know, those guys, yes. Ted Bundy, fuck yeah, Ted Bundy. So Gacy, Bundy, Richard Ramirez was like right before I was born. But Richard Ramirez also scared the hell out of me because my mom would tell me stories about him when I was really little. It's kind of fucked up. She would tell me all these stories about like how terrified she was because no one really knew where Richard Ramirez was going to strike. Like, he just kind of drove around all around the outskirts of LA and then in the heart of LA. And my mom's, you know, originally from like Orange County. And I believe he went down to at least like Fullerton and shit at least once and killed somebody. But like, he kind of just went everywhere and it was very random. And you just pick a house, see if the window's open, go in and shoot if there's a guy, shoot him in the head and then torture and kill the woman. Like, it was really fucked up. So I remember my mom always telling me when I was little about this guy they called the Night Stalker and how terrible he was and all the fucked up shit he would do to people and how many people he killed and how she would, you know, they'd have to lock their windows and make sure the doors are bolted and all. I mean, it's crazy, and especially because, like, one of my earliest memories as a child was coming home from the grocery store with my mom and walking in the front door of the house, and like the setup of our house was when you walk in the front door, there's like kitchen to the left, and then living room straight ahead, and then on the other side of the living room there was a sliding glass door that went to the backyard. And as I walk in the house, you can see directly out the back door into our backyard, and I saw a man hop over our fence and like go into, you know, the neighbor's yard. And at first I thought nothing of it because, you know, maybe it was just my neighbor, like maybe his kid hit like a ball into our yard and he was just retrieving it. And then I remember walking in and I go turn right, and I go down the hallway, and I go to my room, and I walk in my room, and there is just broken glass everywhere, and my like window was busted in. So whoever it was came in through my room, and I think they were trying to steal some shit, but we came home too early, and they got scared, and they bounced because nothing was missing. But I just remember my mom grabbing, as soon as I yelled and I was like, Mom, like, my window's broken, I just remember her grabbing by my arm and yanking me out of the house. And then we drove to my grandparents' house and sat there, called my dad and let him know what was happening, called the cops, did all that shit. And then my mom went back down to talk to the cops, so I stayed at my grandma's house. But like the whole idea, so having that be one of my earliest memories, and then also my mom at a very young age telling me all about Richard Ramirez coming in through people's windows, like, it's like, fuck, dude. But yeah, so like that one was before I was born, but then like Dahmer was killing people while I was alive, and that's fucking wild. Like, I mean, one of the most notorious serial killers of any generation was, you know, I mean, still doing it in the early 90s. He was killing people all the way up until 91. It's a trip, dude. Like, I mean, for kids nowadays, like my daughter was born in 2010. There's nothing comparable for it. Like that. Honestly, the people with the highest killing streak in her lifetime are the police. It's wild. Like, and they get away with it, so it's dope. Good for them. I don't know, man. A little trip down memory lane, like, and I didn't mean to go down that trip. That like that really just kind of triggered something in my brain where it was just like, oh shit, this happened. But yeah, man. So what else? My homie's car got stolen. He drives a Kia, and then I found out that there is a trend on TikTok where little hood rat kids are stealing people's Kias and Hyundais because apparently you can hotwire. I don't even think it's really hot wiring. You can stick a USB port from like an iPhone cable into the ignition and turn on a Kia. So they call it the Kia Boys Challenge, and they're just going around stealing people's cars. That shit's so wild. Like, when I was young in my teenage years and doing hood rat shit with my friends, the last thing we were ever going to, I mean, we didn't have the technology to put it on the internet, but I think that we had a little bit more clarity in vision in the fact that we're like, it's grand theft. It's GTA. It's Grand Theft Auto. It is grand theft that we are breaking into somebody's car, turning it on, and driving it away from them without their knowledge or permission. And that's, you know, I mean, it's not that long of a prison sentence, but it's a prison sentence if you get caught. And these kids are putting it up on the internet for likes and views. I don't understand children nowadays. I don't understand my own child nowadays. Like, dude, I mean, one of the things I've feared the most about my child growing up is that she would like adopt the stupid ass slang that kids are saying nowadays. And I'm sure my parents felt the same way. Like when I was young and I first started saying like dope and sick. But I still think dope and sick are tight. Get what I did there? Because that's another one. Because dope and sick are tight. That might be the name of the episode. Dope and sick are tight. No. I gotta see. That's another thing. I gotta work on my titles. I gotta work on grabbing the attention. But we'll get back to that in a second. My daughter recently, within the past 2 weeks, has started saying a slang word that the kids are saying now that ever since I first heard it drives me fucking crazy. And it's bussin'. It sounds fucking stupid. And I think she does it just to get on my nerves because she always looks directly at me and smiles when she says it. Little shithead. But anytime she eats something now, anytime she eats something, she does this little like smile and she nods her head and she goes, "That's bussin'." And I'm like, bitch. She is a bitch sometimes, but she's 12, and like, if you've seen Big Mouth, I think my daughter is like being puppeteered by a hormone monster at the moment. Dude, the other day, for no reason whatsoever, she was yelling and crying, and I couldn't figure out why. She was just mad at me. And being a parent is not tight sometimes. It's definitely not sick and not dope either. It's one of those things where you're just like, I should go out for a pack of cigarettes and never come back. Okay. No, I would never do that to her. But also, I've thought about at least telling her I was going to do that at least once or twice, because my kid is really talented at art. Like, she's been drawing since she was very little, and her skills for a 12-year-old are fantastic. But I've always felt like in my world of the stand-up comedy and the world of like painters and fine art and all that shit, which is something I've never been able to do. So I just respect that she can do it so much. But I've always felt like it's the ones that have like a troubled youth that do really well. And my daughter's youth is nothing but cotton candy and fucking rainbows. Like, I do everything for her. She gets whatever she wants. She's in a great school. She has good friends. And so I feel like I need to somehow build some adversity in her life. Like, so, threatening, the whole going out for a pack of cigarettes and never coming back, that might be one good way of doing it. Just being like, just have that like trauma at the front of her brain that my dad could leave and never come back. That's a possible way of like really motivating her to be the best. And, selfishly, I don't even want her to be the best for herself. I want her to be the best so she makes a lot of money and I don't have to work anymore. That would be so tight. That would be sick and dope if my kid got like some kind of crazy deal to be an artist for some show or this, that, and the other, and started making copious amounts of money. And then daddy could just fuck off and do whatever he wants because, dude, I actually, you know what? Fuck that dude. That kid would not give me a dime. She would be like, yeah, she would probably reverse because I work very hard for my money and I take care of 3 people with my paycheck. I am the sole income of my household. So anytime she wants something, I make her work for it because you do have to instill some kind of work ethic in people, right? Like, I can't tell you how many 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that work for me at my restaurant just have the most dog shit work ethic. Like, there is no more of I'm helping you out just to help you out, or oh, you need this shift covered, I got your back. It's I'm scheduled till this time and I'm leaving right at that time on the dot, and too bad, and part of me respects it because, boundaries are with work are something that I've never had. Like, I am the guy that says yes to fucking everything until like my back gives out and my brain is melted and I physically can't go to work. I'm that guy. I continue to do it. I keep going. So part of me fully respects the boundaries that they put upon my management team, I guess. But part of me is just like, shut up, you fucking pussy, and work. We are all here to make money. And how are you going to make money working 3-4-hour shifts a week? Who fucking supports you? Because it's not yourself. And I never want to get too deep into these people's personal lives because I don't care about them. And I feel like I don't want to like feign like giving a shit about any of these people. But like, I do want to know, like, does daddy pay for your apartment? Does daddy pay for your car insurance? Does, mommy, whoever, It's 2022. Daddy doesn't pay for everything, except for in my household. It's, because the way that some of these kids work, I don't know how they live. Unless they're like, no, there's actually no possible way they could live in LA with how some of these kids work. Because even if they get scheduled for 5 shifts in a week, they get 2 of them covered. They're like, oh, I got to get this covered because I'm going to see the fucking Arctic Monkeys tonight. I don't know. Are they still a band? Dude, I haven't been to a live concert. Fuck. I haven't been to a live music concert in a solid 8 years. So I have no idea who plays anymore. Unless I'm driving home and driving past the Hollywood Bowl and I'm like, oh, hey, that could have been a fun show. Dude, I so badly wanted to go see Steely Dan when they were there. And I feel like half the people that listen to this will not know who Steely Dan is, but I was raised on that band. It was my dad's favorite band, and my favorite thing in the world used to be to tell him that they gargled balls. I would tell him all the time too. Like he would put on Steely Dan and be like, ugh, this band sucks dicks. And he'd be like, fuck you. And I'm like, sorry, man, it is what it is. They're just not talented. But I was always lying and being a dickhead to my dad because they're actually a really solid band, and I enjoy listening to them. I force my kid to listen to them. But she's cool because her name is Josie, and they have a song named called Josie, and so anytime I put that on, she's fucking down, dude. But they played at the Bowl, and I wanted to go, and I look up tickets, and like in the fucking way back of the Bowl. And the Bowl seating sucks. It is metal benches. And so it like no matter where you are, you're uncomfortable. But in the very back of the Bowl, $540 per ticket. Go fuck yourself, Steely Dan. That's not cool, man. Do you think, I mean, and I get it, like sure, maybe all of your fans that have been around since you guys were like an actual very popular band are probably, in their mid to late 60s, have some kind of like retirement fund or savings account or this, that, and the other, and blowing $500-600 on a ticket to see you guys probably doesn't faze them. But hey, man, I want to rock with the Dan. I'm a Dan man, and I want to rock with your band, Dan. So let me Dan it up with the band, Dan. I couldn't do it because it's hard for me to go anywhere without my wife. If I want to go out and do something fun, this is the only fucked up thing about being in a relationship. I always have to pay for 2. It's never like, oh, this is just $35. It's immediately, this is $70. It's never just, oh, this is $50. It's $100. So fuck. 2 tickets to see the Dan and I'm out $1,100? Fuck you, dude. That's not fair. How is that fair? But like, and also, you guys are old as shit and probably about to die soon. What are you going to do with all that money? You can't take it to the grave with you. Throw a $10 concert, Dan. Get your shit together. One last fucking hurrah for your fans. And fucking cash grab, bitch ass. I'm going to fucking post this on the internet, and I'm tagging you, Steely Dan. I don't even know if you're old. You're probably too old to have an Instagram account, you fucks. Definitely don't have a TikTok. I shouldn't even have a TikTok. I feel like there is definitely an age limit that should be on TikTok because nothing I post on TikTok gets any love. Like, I don't have I don't have the right personality type for that. And also, everything I post gets flagged because I say something about cocaine or dicks or being gay or no matter what I do, I get tagged for community guideline violations. And right now, if you were to look at the worst pod TikTok, there is a little red thing underneath my name that says account warning because I'm on my last straw. Like, if I get one more community violation, it's sayonara. And it's fine. It could happen. And if it does happen, I'm not going to be brokenhearted. I have like 160 followers on there, and maybe one of my stand-up clips has gotten any traction. But yeah, man, I just I really want to work on this whole like figuring out. I mentioned it, like probably 10 minutes ago before the Steely Dan rant, but like the whole captivating titles to these videos and all that kind of shit. The other day, 2 days ago, I was listening to a podcast, and this podcast made me feel really old because it was a comedian I enjoy, and he had a guest on. And I never really care. Like, if it's a podcast I really like, I'll listen to the episode regardless of who the guest is. And sometimes there's podcasts I listen to that I strictly listen to for the guest. Like, I like the hosts, but I don't like them enough to just listen to their show, which might be the case with my show. Like, I've been doing a lot of solo episodes lately because fuck you, this is my time to shine. And actually, you know what? My solo episodes do great. So maybe you guys just don't like my guests. But anyways, they had this guest on, and I had never heard of him. And then when I started listening to him and finding out exactly who he is and how popular he is, I felt so old that, like, I had no idea about this kid. His name's Mr. Beast. And everybody was probably just went, oh, you're a dumbass. Because he is the biggest YouTuber in the world. He has, I think it's somewhere like 100 million subscribers. He has released videos that have gotten more views than there are people in this world. He recreated fucking Squid Game, spent his own money, and got more views than than Netflix has subscribers. Like, the kid's a fucking, like, I mean, I'm in awe of this child. He's 23 years old. He's a fucking kid. But he's a goddamn genius. And shout out to this kid, because I listened to a fucking 3-hour podcast with this fool. Somebody's trying to call me. Oh, sorry, Marcos. I'm not working right now. I listened to a 3-hour podcast with this fool, and I was very enamored by the conversation this kid was having. I mean, he just, at 11 years old, decided that he was going to be the biggest YouTuber in the world and just started there and never stopped. He said that he doesn't watch TV, he doesn't watch movies. He didn't start listening to music until he was 20 because all he did was watch YouTube videos to find out how to be the best. And you got to admire that kind of fucking mental fortitude and the fucking gymnastics of it all to, like, wrap your brain around that. Like, it's a fucking website that, I mean, I would really like to know what the actual number is, but maybe like 100,000 videos get uploaded like every minute because it's global. And to be able to be the one that, like, figures it all out on how to make it work for you, like, I mean, there's plenty of people that have made it work for them and made a career, but most of these people, they have like a two-year lifespan of being a popular person on YouTube. And then it dies out because they have like one thing that they're good at, and then people get bored of it. But this kid has been doing it for what, fucking 12 years now, and he just keeps on growing. And on top of that, he's like a nice person. I don't know, man. I'm kind of like man crushing on this 23-year-old child right now. He's really tight. But yeah, if you go listen, I think he did an episode of Rogan too, but I don't listen to Joe Rogan's podcast because I'm not a fucking dork. Dude, one day I'll be on St. Rogi's podcast, and they're gonna pull up that clip of me being like, I don't listen to Joe Rogan because I'm not a fucking dork. Bitch. Fuck you, you short bitch. I'm making myself laugh. At least I got that. What else do I got? Oh, here's a couple things about celebrities, right? I found as everyone knows, I don't search for real news. I don't like to touch on topics that actually affect people. I like to go and find like the garbage shit that like New York Post posts and TMZ and just all the bullshit news that really doesn't matter at the end of the day. And I saw that CARA DELAVIGNE, who is an actress and model, it said that she's on a downward spiral. Okay. I would like for the news companies to stop treating... Okay, I get it. She's in the public eye, whatever. But also, she's a young woman in her 20s, I think. She has to be. Let fucking kids be kids. If she wants to go out and get hammered and do a little bit of blow and get fucked in the bathroom, that is her right as a mid-20s young woman. Like, everyone's allowed to make these mistakes, or sometimes they're not mistakes. They are great. They're great nights. I've had many great nights getting fucking blown in a bathroom while doing blow and then drinking a bottle of tequila. Like, these are some of the nights that live on with me forever. I know that it's not a sustainable lifestyle, but it's tight to be able to say I've experienced that. And so these fucking photographers, paparazzi, they take pictures of this poor girl like getting hammered drunk, and then they're like, she's on a downward spiral. She's starting to act just like her mom. And I'm like, that's fucked up. Like, dude, if somebody told me that I was acting exactly like my dad, I'd be so pissed, even though I know I do, but like I'd still be pissed. Like, I don't know, man. It just fucking it's like when Justin Bieber. Fuck, dude. It's like when Justin Bieber like went all crazy. And you know, like he was like 19 and he was like racing Ferraris in Miami and fucking pissing in mop buckets and people were taking videos of him. You know, he's been famous since he was 12, dude. He's a 19-year-old kid. Let him cause a little havoc with that big old dick of his. Let him fucking run free and fucking be a chaotic child. Like, who gives a flying fuck, dude? People, y'all need to chill. And then there's Julia Fox. Julia Fox is she's in Uncut Gems. And she was like dating Kanye for a little while, and she's a white girl with a fat ass. And she recently came out and said that she has ADHD and OCD. Bitch, so does everybody. She's blaming the fact that she's not getting like movie roles on her ADHD and OCD. Smoke some weed, take an Adderall, and shut the fuck up. No one cares. Like, don't come out like you have some kind of real sickness. Half the fucking world has ADHD. You're not special. No one fucking cares. That's all I have to say about that. Dumb bitch. I got a couple more. Dude, I watched Blonde, the Marilyn Monroe story, and I knew nothing about this woman except for, like, you know, she fucked a president and she was famous. Like, I never cared. I always thought that, like, people that had, like, Marilyn Monroe posters, like, especially, like, girls, it was, like, a fucking red flag that they were crazy. And so I never really cared to look into her, but, like, bitch had a life. It starts off with, like, her mom just basically beating her and telling her that her dad's not around because he didn't want her to be alive. And then her mom goes into it, like, burns down their house and goes to a mental institution. And then it fast forwards to her being in her, like, late teens, early 20s. And she's in fucking, like, a polyamorous relationship with Charlie Chaplin's son and another dude. And they're just Eiffel Towering her all the time. And then, you know, things move forward and she's fucking Joe DiMaggio and she gets pregnant twice and loses the baby twice and she's all fucked up about it. Well, one time the studio, like, makes her get an abortion, which is wild. But it has an NC-17 rating. This is why I'm talking about it. And I'm waiting for maybe like a shot of fucking, right? or something like that. But all you really get to see is there is like the scene of like the gynecologist or whoever it is performing procedure, and you get to see the inside of Marilyn Monroe's pussy, because it's like a camera that comes from the inside, so you just see it like open like, and then you could see like the doctor's face. So it's weird that they're trying to like shoot it like, here's a camera inside of Marilyn Monroe's pussy. And also that Ana de Armas that plays her is so much hotter than Marilyn Monroe ever was. Fuck, dude. Damn. So there's a scene, the other scene in the movie is she's faking blowing John F. Kennedy. And the whole time it's just like her head moving up and down, and like her making eye contact, and she's just, and then it's playing like a monologue in her head where she's just like, don't choke, don't choke. You're gonna have to swallow at the end of this. And it's just like, woof. But also, it was kind of hot. And might have gotten hard during that part. But, you know, it's neither here nor there, because it was a 3-hour-long movie. And even if I could get boned up, I was also very bored half the time. I'd spent a lot of time on my phone. She had an interesting life, but not 3 hours interesting. I have no idea. I read that movie got a 17-minute standing ovation at Cannes Film Festival. The people at the Cannes Film Festival must, you know, I don't think it got a 17-minute standing ovation. I think these people were so fucking tired after sitting for 3 hours that they just had to get up. And like the longer they clapped, the longer they got to stand up. So they're like, if we stop clapping and sit down, we're going to have to sit down for another half hour while they do a Q&A after this. So let's fucking keep going. I think there was like a unanimous decision made within the room, like just based on eye contact and dirty looks, like just keep going. Just fucking keep going. You know what? I think that might be it. I think that's a Marilyn Monroe sucking dicks and giving JFK the old gawk. I think that might be a good place to end this. I really don't have much else to say, and my mom's in town, so thank you for watching The Worst. The likes, the rates, reviews, subscribes. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.